Let's be real. Every year we say we're gonna glow up and transform, but then summer rolls around and suddenly it's been 6 months since the start of the new year and nothing has changed. So this time, we're gonna make it last. Today I'm gonna be sharing with you 10 healthy habits that can actually transform your life and mindset. No crash diets, no glow ups overnight, just real life-changing shifts and consistent habits that'll make you your best self, not just for the summer, but far beyond. And the best part about it is you already have everything you need to get started. But if you're new here, hey, I'm Heather, your go-to girl for elevation in health and wellness. So if that interests you, make sure you subscribe to stick around. The first habit, which is so powerful, is focus on who you're being, not just what you're doing. And this might sound a little strange, but hear me out. Who you're being every day is already a habit. And if you're not being intentional with where you invest your energy, whether they're conscious or unconscious, they are already in place and they're either serving you or not serving you. So when you're going through this transformation, you need to keep that in your head. The vision of who you want to be. For example, sometimes we have glow up goals like lose X number of pounds or have glass clear skin, and we jump to the end goal without thinking about who we need to be in order to get there. So I like touching on this identity piece before getting into any of the habits. If you want to be confident, are you showing up confidently? Are you a person who trusts themselves and makes promises that they follow through with? When I started focusing on being the version of myself that I wanted to become, that identity piece was so key. For example, I didn't just want to work out. I genuinely see myself as an athlete that puts time and energy into moving their body and focusing on good recovery. The actions aren't just actions, they're habits of that identity, and then they become second nature. It's not about forcing yourself to wake up early, it's about being a morning person. So instead of just focusing on the action of the upcoming habits, make sure you're also asking yourself about the identity of the person that manages those actions. Who am I becoming in the process? So understanding that identity piece is everything, and from there, everything else will fall into place. Okay, habit number 2. One thing that drastically changed my life is when I started prioritizing myself first thing in the morning. Look, for a long time, I was not a morning person, and I'm sure you guys can relate. I would check my phone first thing in the morning, start doom scrolling through some negativity, and I just always felt behind every single day. But what ends up happening is you dive headfirst into anxiousness and chaos. And that was before even leaving my bed. And the truth is, how you start your morning sets the tone for the rest of the day. Now imagine instead, you actually woke up, took a second to breathe, without rushing, and you can step into the day at your own pace. It's time to stop treating your mornings like something to just get through and start treating them as the opening of a movie scene. Romanticizing your morning routine, even in small ways, can make a big difference. Instead, we can shift our perspective and see the morning as the time to pour into ourselves, because it's the time that truly belongs just to you before work and the responsibility and the entire world demands your attention. And if you don't protect this time, it'll just get overrun by everything else. The emails can wait, the Instagram stories can wait. Trust me, it'll still be there and you're not going to be losing out. I talk about my phone because that was definitely a pressure point for me. I had to set a boundary with my phone in the morning and actually stick to it because I realized how much it was affecting my mood. So I don't do my cell phone for the first 1 hour after I wake up. And instead you find that you can fill that time with things that actually matter. So I replaced grabbing my phone in the morning with a journal and pen. Where I usually place my phone, I now have a journal and a pen, and I place my phone across the room on its charging stand so that I can't touch it. I personally don't even have a prompt in the morning. I just like journaling some morning pages. Even if I have tasks that I need to accomplish, just getting them down on paper makes me feel so much more relaxed. It can be baby steps in the morning. It doesn't have to be this crazy 5 a.m. drastic 10-step morning routine, but just consider adding a ritual or two in the morning that can help you feel grounded. Some of the suggestions I have are 1, movement, like a slow stretch or a walk, or just opening the window for some fresh air. 2 is mindfulness, for example, journaling, reading, or meditation. And 3 is something just for you. And this doesn't have to be something productive, just something you enjoy. It could be a skincare routine. It could be good music that hypes you up, or putting together your morning coffee or matcha. It's less about what you're doing and more about the intention of why you're doing it, which is for nobody else but yourself. These little moments help remind you that you're not just surviving through the day, you're actually thriving and you're truly living them. The next habit is to make your environment match your dream self. Basically, you should try as much as possible to make your environment reflect the dream life you're trying to build. You can have all the goals, the Pinterest vision boards, and motivation in the world, but if the space around you is cluttered, uninspiring, and full of things that don't align with the life that you're trying to build, it's actually going to be so much harder to become that version of you. And I truly didn't start understanding this until I started changing my space. Like, I always wanted to be that person that felt like they were put together and who takes care of themselves and enjoys their morning. amazing, but my environment just was not matching that at all. Like, I couldn't be a clean person to save my life. And because my room felt chaotic, I felt chaotic. My closet was overflowing with things that I didn't wear. My desk was piled high with papers, made me feel uncomfortable and unproductive. And how can we expect to feel calm and motivated when our environment around us is telling us a different story? So the biggest recommendation is to start small, one drawer at a time, one shelf, one section of a room at a time. And when you're cleaning and decluttering, just start asking yourself if these items match the person and identity that you're trying to be. Does future you hold on to that chipped cup or that chipped plate? If not, then it might be time to toss it out. Does the future you leave their shoes all over the place? Or are they nice and organized by the front door? Maybe it's time to get on Amazon and purchase that shoe organizer. You know, like small things like that. If it's not bringing you peace, there's a chance it's just adding to your chaos. And also in here, I like to include digital clutter as well, because even the space that you create online should feel intentional as well. The accounts that you follow should be chosen by that future version of you. And it's not about being perfectly aesthetic, but it's about being considerate of the information you're taking in. And once you get rid of the excess in real life and in your digital space, you'll start to notice an influx of the good that's going to come in to replace it. It's the law of vacuum, that once you let go of things, it makes space for new to come in. For example, get a new candle that can be an example of the scent of the future you or the future place that you want. Or invest in a good quality water bottle that'll actually help you stay hydrated, like the new healthier version of you. Or how about soft lighting instead of harsh overhead lighting that'll help create a calm environment when you wake up for your new morning routine. These little shifts will matter because every time you see them and use them and experience them, you're reinforcing the idea that you're becoming the dream version of you. So make your environment match your dream self as much as possible and watch how everything else starts to align. The next habit has to do with something we do every single day, which is eat. The next habit is to prioritize high energy foods, because I used to think eating healthy meant eating as little as possible and only eating things that were labeled as good food. The goal shouldn't be to eat less, it should be to eat better. Eat better food that's actually good for you. Because I, for one, know that when I eat food that is super fatty, super high in carbs, no fruits or veggies on my plate, I feel very weighed down and even more sleepy throughout the day and even hungrier after only 1 or 2 hours. You don't need to overcomplicate your food at all, but recognizing what food actually makes you feel good over what makes you feel sluggish and lethargic changes everything. Eating is about far more than calories and macros. Food at the end of the day is fuel, it's energy, and the right food will help you have a clearer mind, feel strong, and feel like your best self. For me, I started super small with just adding more veggies to my plate. It could be something like adding more protein throughout your day. Protein is so key for keeping you full, keeping you energized. Healthy fats are good for your brain and skin, and colorful veggies help for a good digestive system and just keep you overall well and thriving. And listen, you can still have the matcha lattes. You can still have chocolate and your comfort meals, but just try to make an effort to prioritize more of the good stuff. And when you prioritize more of the good stuff, you'll naturally start craving the food that makes you feel better. You'll definitely notice a difference in your energy, your skin, not just that, but it'll fuel your workouts and movement that you're adding and incorporating too. Because I know we all just live in this cycle of waking up late, eating foods that are not great for us. All these things work in tandem together and affect our overall mood and therefore affect if we're achieving our goals or not. So if you've been in that cycle of dieting and restricting and overeating and binging, I always say a good step is to just focus on adding more of the better, more nutritious foods to your plate. And most importantly, make it delicious. There is such a joy and connection to be had with food. Should enjoy the experience of connecting with food. I find that the ritual of cooking for myself helps me enjoy it so much more, and it just makes me feel so connected. The act of putting together a meal and feeling very proud of something, you know, if I found a new recipe that I put together, it's really truly a form of self-love. And this is also another step in glowing from the inside out, because what you put inside is the foundation for everything. So just making more of an effort that the food that you're eating fuels your overall goals will help you set a good foundation for the rest of your habits and give you the energy that you need. The next habit that'll help you transform and glow up is to speak to yourself kindly. Speak to your own self as if you're your best friend or like you're speaking to a smaller little version of you, because the way you talk to yourself, I promise, truly matters. Probably more than you even realize. And I want you to think about this for a second. Would you ever in a million years talk to your best friend the way that you negatively talk to yourself? Would you ever yell at your younger self the way that you do when you're unhappy with your appearance, or you feel rushed, or you make a mistake? This is another area where we can be more intentional. Like, imagine your best friend comes to you at the end of the day and they start telling you that they're exhausted and they feel terrible and they're a failure. Would you ever look at your bestie and go, yeah, you suck?
You're a failure?
Well, I hope you wouldn't. They're probably your bestie because you see the best in them and you see how hardworking they are and what potential they have, and you know how truly incredible they are. So speak to yourself like your own bestie, and I'm sure you're doing even better than you ever give yourself credit for. Like, let me know if you can relate to this. Have you ever gone through like thought spiral where it's like one negative thought leads to another one and another one, and then before you know it, you're spiraling? I've tried to get better at it over the years, but it would start with like, oh my God, I hate this pimple. Actually, I hate the way my hair looks. Of course, my eyeliner came out uneven. I'm just not gonna go to the event. That's negative thought spiral. And I find it happens when I'm not being kind to myself, because the energy that you feed grows. And if you spend more time tearing yourself down, then you're gonna feel that weight. You're gonna feel heavier. But if you start speaking to yourself with love, even in small ways, you'll feel lighter. And look, I know it sounds a little bit cheesy, but when you recognize that you're being mean to yourself, you're the only one that has the ability to flip that switch. And when you start treating yourself better, you'll carry yourself differently. You'll have a lighter energy, you'll have more love about you, and that is truly what the glow up's about. So today, just think about this. Where are you talking to yourself negatively? And when you do, try to catch that moment before you start spiraling. Stop it in its tracks and try to say the complete opposite or an affirmation. Try to rewire that. Okay, the next habit on your glow up journey is to learn to embrace delusional confidence. Because yes, confidence is a muscle, and it's a muscle that you have to strengthen in order for it to grow. And I'm talking delusional confidence because it's the kind of confidence that you have to act on even if you don't truly believe it yet. What I mean is sometimes you have to walk into a room and act like you belong there. Even if you're in a room of people that are more successful than you, or if you're going to the gym for the first time and you just feel uncomfortable, your brain might be screaming at you that you don't belong. But confidence is something that you have to act on before you feel it. It's something that you have to decide to embody right now, exactly as you are. I don't know why we think we need to earn confidence. You already have all the qualifications that you need in order to start feeling confident today, right now. The difference is, are you expressing it? Do you want to start posting on social media, but you're scared about what so-and-so will say? Start posting anyway. Embrace that discomfort and that awkward stage that comes with starting anything new, and you just gotta do it. Are you scared to go to the gym because you have no idea what you're doing? Put on the most comfortable workout outfit you have, save a workout routine, and go in with confidence. Anyone who seems like they have it all put together was once in your shoes as a beginner. But if you choose to show up as your higher self, then you'll continue to build the proof for the person that you're trying to be. And also, the more you do it, the more natural it's going to become. So whatever you're waiting for to feel confident about, whether it's posting that video or applying for that job or speaking up at a meeting, stop waiting and just start doing it. It's one of the simplest things, but one of the scariest of them all. I think one of the things I learned is that you can be confident and humble enough to know that you're going to keep learning along the way. You don't have to be perfect in order to show up as the confident version of you. Do it messy, do it awkward and imperfectly. The confidence is going to come through the repetition, but getting through that awkward stage until then is going to feel a little bit weird. Then it's going to become so normal and second nature to you. Once you start taking yourself seriously, people will believe whatever energy you project. So pick a small moment where you typically shrink yourself down, change your perspective, and choose in this moment that you're going to show up confidently and speak, walk, or think differently. Because you don't become confident by waiting, you become confident by doing and showing up. It gets easier. Next on the glow up journey, all of us could do with a little bit more exercise, a little bit more movement in our day. So the next habit is including more movement in your life, but making it fun. You don't always need to add workouts into your routine and make it feel like punishment. It's not always about doing extremely hard workouts, because then you start seeing movement as punishment. For the longest time, I thought that exercise had to be super rigid. You had to like throw tires around and always be adding new exercises in. Like, don't suffer through HIIT workouts where you can barely keep up, and don't go to hot yoga if that's just not your cup of tea. Movement should feel more like freedom. Shouldn't be something that you're looking at the clock and counting down. Movement should really make you feel good, and it should be part of your glow up transformation, because we could all do better at being more grateful for everything that our body does. So a good start is just to ask yourself, what is some movement that you could start incorporating that helps you feel more energized and alive and appreciative of your body? Look at how much you can do. Some days it could be a slow hot girl walk. I love going for a walk, putting on a playlist, putting on on some nice music. Other days, maybe it's Pilates or just setting up a mat and doing some yoga in your living room. But this goes back to intention again. Moving your body or setting a goal of moving your body X amount of times, like doing 10K steps a day, can help you feel so powerful. Some days it's just putting music on and dancing in your living room. The point is, when you stop looking at movement like it's some chore that you need to get to and instead start treating it as something that you get to do, this again helps with that identity piece. The energy that you bring behind it is that you get to do it, you don't have to do it, and that's also when everything shifts and will make you more inclined to continue doing that activity. You can start craving movement and not dreading it. Move because you love your body and not because you're punishing it. So if you're stuck in this cycle of hating workouts, just think of more ways for it to be playful and fun. Join a dance class. I always recommend ClassPass, which is a good way to try out different workout routines. I also found out that I enjoyed climbing during this time, which is indoor bouldering. So yeah, think about ways that you can add more movement and still make it fun. It's one of the easiest ways to feel alive and just appreciate your body for everything that it does for you every day. Okay, the next practical habit that you can implement on your glow up journey is prioritizing sleep and recovery. You can't glow up if you're always running on empty. You need actual, deep, guilt-free sleep and intentional rest. Because let's be real, most of us are usually running on empty, and then we wonder why we feel drained, unmotivated, and stuck. You can't glow up if your mind and body are constantly running. And you know, we live in a world that really glorifies hustle culture. It's all about how productive you can be, how early you can wake up, how much you can get done. And don't get me wrong, I love a good routine. I love the feeling of feeling accomplished, but there is a fine line between ambition and burnout. And when you cross that line, no amount of green juice or skincare is going to make up for the exhaustion that you feel. So by prioritizing rest and recovery, this could mean a bunch of different things. It could be an evening routine where you're journaling with some tea and winding down at the end of the day. It could be taking one day out of the week, like a Sunday, a do nothing day where you just relax and reset into yourself. I'm talking get off social media, get outdoors, and just replenish your own cup. Whatever you choose, I highly recommend to do at least one thing daily, but if not at least once a week, give yourself the ritual of a rest and recovery break. And once again, if you feel like there isn't enough time in the day, sometimes you need to wake up a little earlier to carve out that time. Or you can set a cutoff at the end of the day where you're not answering your phone, no more emails, no more work talk after a certain time. I know the biggest shift that I made when it came to sleep and recovery was simply going to sleep at the same time and waking up at the same time every single day. Yes, that did include the weekends. It was hard at first, but after a few days, I found that it was much easier to wake up in the mornings, sometimes even before the alarm, and it was a lot easier to go to sleep because I started getting tired at around the same time. And when you don't have a schedule, you're more likely to just feel drained, and this really keeps you from performing at your best. So don't let this little thing like sleep and recovery be the one that holds you back. Okay, let's talk about momentum in the next habit, which is making mini challenges for yourself can actually help you see greater success and contribute to your greater long-term goals. Because if you've ever felt stuck or unmotivated, or like you're kind of just going through the motions, the answer might be to like gamify your life. Because instead of waiting on some big overarching achievement, you have smaller daily achievements that can help you feel like you're actually making progress. Not just that, but it makes it fun. It makes it a bit of a challenge, and it reinforces your idea of small wins, which acts as a reward system. Because big goals can feel overwhelming, like losing a certain amount of weight, for example, or earning X amount of money in your dream career, or glowing up your whole life. Like, where do you even start? The secret is to break it down into smaller steps, and smaller challenges can help you feel that progress. For example, a daily habit tracker can be super beneficial in supporting this journey. I have found different trackers on Notion, or you can even build one out in your journal where you just write down a list of maybe 1 to 5 habits and check them off every single day. Or set a random challenge for yourself, like a 30-day challenge. Keeping something like a streak alive will help you feel so much more excited and help you show up when you don't want to. For example, it could be a daily step goal, or trying one new thing every single week, or it could be making your bed every morning. Nothing is too small, and it doesn't really matter what it is, but when you add something to your routine and you check off the list and you realize you've done it for 30 full days, you'll be mind blown, because what was once something you couldn't do now seems so normal and part of your routine. And then that momentum is what you can do to keep you going. One of my favorite things to do is a quarterly reset. That means that every 3 months, I'm thinking about that quarter and what goals I can realistically achieve within 3 months. Like right now with spring just starting, what are my goals that I want to achieve before summer? Sit down and focus on 3 goals max. Then work backwards from that plan to break it down into tiny steps that could actually help you achieve that. All you need is a few key goals that align with the higher version of you. And those small shifts, again, are gonna really start to add up over time. Because when you challenge yourself, you give yourself these mini milestones. And then you start to reinforce the idea of confidence again, because you're following through and trusting yourself with something you said you would do. And now we're starting to add to that glow up that actually lasts. And the next habit we need to talk about is about a mindset shift, because the biggest thing keeping most people from their glow up, it's not lack of motivation or lack of time. It's truly that you don't believe you can actually achieve it. I know that was my problem when I first started, for example, on my fitness journey or stopping to drink alcohol. I had attempted these things so many times before, and so I had the belief system that I couldn't achieve it. But the thing is, there's no perfect time to take on that new identity, and the longer you wait, the longer you're gonna stay stuck. It really is as simple as changing your belief system and deciding on that day that that's the day you're going to get started. You don't even need to wait for the end of the month, the next season, or the beginning of the year to actually get started. Like if you tell yourself, I'm not a confident person, I could never do that, you are the only person holding yourself back. And this goes back to the self-talk, because what you say actually becomes your reality. The words and what you speak are actually so important. And your brain looks for proof to actually reinforce what it is that you already believe. If you believe that you're a screw up and you believe that you're clumsy, for example, your brain is going to keep finding examples that back up what you already believe about yourself. So if you're telling yourself, I can't do it just because it's happened in the past, erase that. Every moment is a new moment where you can start over all over again. And yeah, even if it feels fake at first, even if it feels uncomfortable, start saying, I become a person that follows through with what I say I'm going to. I am capable of change. I'm already stepping into my higher self. You can speak it into existence, because your subconscious will believe what you continually tell it. And listen, I know it feels scary to start when you feel unprepared, and we don't always have all the answers. Being perfect is an illusion. And look, the real glow up is about so much more than how you look. That's why there's so many facets of mindset shifts that you need to also implement when you're on your glow up journey. It's about how you feel that ends up translating into your 3D world, into the life that you're living. Who you're showing up as, and that identity piece is so key to glowing up, and it's the energy that you carry with yourself every single day. But with these habits that we talked about, you have everything you need, and most of these you can get started with today to actually begin your transformation. So you'll be prepared this spring, before summer, and for years to come. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I promise you that these habits will help you change your perspective and guide you through a solid transformation, not just this spring, but into the summer and beyond. Let me know in the comments if this resonated with you, and if you want more tips on how to elevate your life and wellness, subscribe to stick around. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.